everyone, and welcome to another fun and very informative Fast Chat sponsored by Aurelion. I'm Bill Clayman, CEO of Apollo.us and contributing editor here at Network Computing. And listen, today I am joined by the very amazing Matthias Friedstrom, Chief Evangelist at Aurelion. Now, we had a little bit of a pre-call before this, and I have to say, there's a certain type of person that might get just a little bit too excited about networks. Yes, that might be me. I have a network engineering undergrad, but that is also going to be Matthias because he is going to be that excited guy with me today. Now, since joining Aurelion, which was known as Telia, in 1996, he has worked in several senior roles with the company, and most recently, congratulations, you got a C-level in your title, Matthias. I like that. As a CTO, Matthias, welcome to the conversation. It's great to have you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bill. It's great to be here.
Well, all right. Let's set the stage. Now, everybody listening, hey, listen, we don't have like an hour. We have like 10 minutes or so to dive into a really, really important conversation. Connectivity. Literally the thing that you're using right now to hear us talk and be very excited about. Let me paint the picture a little bit for you as far as where we are right now, everybody, with the state of connectivity and the internet. It goes without saying that the level of interoperability and connectivity continues to grow, and we see how the technology surrounding the internet are transforming the way we connect with others. And now with things like generative AI and AI in general, listen, things are moving even faster. Just look at what happened over the past year. In 2023, the number of internet users worldwide stood at 5.3 billion, which means that about 2/3 of the global population is currently connected to the World Wide Web. Now, if we take a look at the United States alone, this is a statistic as of March 1st, 2024. The internet is accessible by nearly 95% of the United States population, or about 322 million people here, according to the U.S. Census. Now, and all of this is going to ultimately become more connectivity, and we are driven by new and emerging technologies like AI and, of course, generative AI. None of this is slowing down, and that is what I'm here to talk about, this level of connectivity. But listen, everybody, before we jump in, I'm really personally kind of curious what Aurelion does. So, Matthias, let's bring you into this conversation. Who is Aurelion, and what do you do?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. Aurelion is a connectivity provider. You're saying connectivity is super useful, so that's obviously good to be a connectivity provider then. We are mostly famous for our internet backbone. That means that we're, on one hand, providing content providers with access to the internet so that they can sell their services. It could be games, could be whatever they put on the internet. And in the other end, we're connecting all the operators, ISPs, mobile providers who wants to provide services to their end users. So we are this glue in the middle that provides the networks, the sort of internet backbone, as we call it. And currently, we are the number one ranked internet backbone in the world. We therefore are the most important network for internet to work. But then, of course, we have this whole network, and therefore we can sell other services to it. So we do sell any type of connectivity services to enterprises and other operators. Wherever they need to connect and whoever they need to connect, we can help them with that.
You are the number one internet backbone in the world. So I'll be perfectly honest with you. You're talking to the right people here at Network Computing because they're going to be like, hey, this is good news. You're keeping us connected. All right. Matthias, we've seen just a massive shift happening at the enterprise level. Just it's silly, right? I'd love to get into it. This whole thing around artificial intelligence and now generative AI, everybody listening, really quick, this isn't a fad. Please understand, this is not a fad. This is as much of a fad as when we stopped riding horses and started driving cars, as much of a fad when we stopped taking trains and started flying airplanes. What we're experiencing now is a shift in humanity, not just technology, of how we interact with data. And the backbone of all that, well, it's going to be the internet. So, Matthias, you have an extraordinary purview into what's happening at the end user. So I have to ask you this question. Why is all of this important to the enterprise?
No, but basically, you're right. Every enterprise has some sort of need for connectivity. It could be that they want to provide their products on the internet, and then, of course, that's a perfect thing for us because we can take them to whoever they need to be taken. So that's one thing. They always a lot of other enterprises needs to communicate inside their corporate network, between the headquarters and some smaller offices, or headquarters and the factories and so on. And that's another type of connectivity that we can help them with. And then, of course, more and more, as you were into, more and more companies are putting their applications and everything into the cloud. So therefore, they need to be connected to that cloud, and that's another thing we can do to them. And then, last but not least, the AI stuff. There will be a ton of thing you will have in the AI clouds. There will be a lot of data centers who are only going to focus on that stuff, and you need to be connected to them to use that functionality. And that's another thing we can do. So pretty much every enterprise have a need for some type of connectivity. And the cool thing is that not all of that traffic is super critical. If something doesn't really work all the time, who could care? Some traffic, you always want to be there up and running. Your financial data should always be super secure and stored somewhere where it's super secure. So that's why you need to talk to an operator like us. We can help them, guide them. What type of traffic should they use in different cases? And that's why I think every enterprise should care about their connectivity. They shouldn't just think this is, whatever, and it's probably up there somewhere, I think they should talk to someone. We could be that one. We would be happy to talk to them.
Every enterprise should care about their connectivity. And you mentioned AI. I actually want to expand that a little bit. There was a really interesting study that I found that, DALL-E from ChatGPT, if you type in a question like, paint me an elephant on a unicycle, I don't know. I just randomly thought of that. But that one request is enough to charge this awesome phone between 1 and 2 times. So while we know that an AI request consumes a lot of power, I'm really curious, what impact does AI have on enterprise connectivity?
Yeah, it's going to have a huge impact. It's really going to have a huge impact. I actually read as well, I saw the other day that a Google search is like a tiny thing compared to something when you ask the AI generators about the answers. That's just tremendous amounts of traffic.
I love it. You nailed something really, really important. Hey, that statistic here I've been actually talking about. Ready for this, Mattias? A single Google search can power a 100-watt light bulb for 11 seconds. A single GPT-like instance is 600 to 800 times more powerful than that.
Yeah.
Now, that's just on the power side. Imagine connectivity.
Yeah. No, it's just madness. And I also heard the other day that, we probably need 100 more data centers, large data centers, the next coming years, just to, feed the world with this AI. And then, of course, I understand that a lot of stuff is going to happen inside the data center. That's where the generative stuff, that's when the conclusions and everything comes. But of course, if people want to use this, there's a lot of traffic that's going to be between the users and the data centers as well. So that's something we're super excited for, making sure that we can take care of that traffic. We haven't really seen it yet because AI is just in the beginning of its curve. But when I read these things and I hear what the hyperscalers, the Googles, the Amazons talk about, then, it's going to be so much traffic to take care of. And obviously a data center that's not connected is useless. So we would be loving to connect all these data centers for all this stuff.
I want to make sure people hear your message here, Mattias, because you are absolutely right. Here's the reality of the situation. First of all, a lot of people listening to this have used ChatGPT. Good for you, right? That's amazing. But the other reality is this: you and I and everybody listening to this has been conditioned to interact with data in a certain way. You type in a question and you get a pretty blue link. 20 years of that is gone out the window, because right now, every single person listening to this conversation, if you've gone on Google or Bing or your favorite search engine and you've typed in a question, that first response, it's not a blue link anymore. It is a generative AI response. So the reality of the situation is everything Mattias is saying here is critical for you to understand. The pace of evolution is staggering, where all of us who have now begun to interact with data are doing it in a conscious manner. I'm not talking about Skynet. It's just our ability to interact with data and get content back. It's extraordinary. So, Mattias, I'm curious, as part of the foundation of the internet, as the number one backbone, what are you currently working on at Aurelion to support all this?
Yeah, no, that's a very good question. And I actually think the answer is that we're building networks. The network is growing every day. There's more traffic to take care of every day. So the only thing we really, really do is building more networks. And one thing we do that for is obviously to connect more customers, being able to be in more places to connect more customers more easily. But then, of course, for resiliency and diversity as well, there's a lot of things happening. We have failures in the network. We need to avoid having too many failures. So therefore, we're building parallel routes. We're building everywhere. So I would say most of our energy and money goes into building networks to be able to support this growth. And with AI coming, we just need to be ready. We can't just sit here, wait, hope it's going to happen. We need to be ready when it's happening, and it's going to happen. As you said, we know it's going to happen. There's nothing that can stop it right now. So therefore, all the efforts we're doing is just building networks to be able to communicate and take care of more customers and more traffic.
You said it brilliantly. And like I said earlier, Matthias, I wish I could talk to you even more about this stuff. And everybody listening, please understand, I know this is a fast chat. I know we only had a few minutes together, but please take every single piece of this conversation as a gold nugget, because vision without execution is just hallucination. And none of this is going to go away. That's so important to understand. So, Matthias, like I said, I wish we could talk about this for another hour, but unfortunately, this is a fast chat. Thank you so much for joining us, and a big thank you for Aurelion for sponsoring this fast chat. Now, everybody listening, if you want to learn more about what powers the internet's backbone, be sure to visit Aurelion.com. That's ARELION.com. But hey, everybody, until then, stay curious and keep learning. And Matthias, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.